David, Tom, anyone who was a panelist, if you want to come on up here. Yeah, right. All right, yeah. Dwayne, David, Tom Weaver, Nathan Owens, Sharon Werner, Erica Dansby, and Shannon Webster. Great. Close enough, right? All right, cool. Well, yeah, I think, so yeah, these are transportation agencies from across the region. They're going to discuss the services they provide, funding and payment options, coverage areas, and then they're going to answer any questions you may have too. So if you guys just want to talk a little bit about yourself, what agency territory you're covering, and what agency you're with, well, that'd be great. So we'll just pass the mic around.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Bishop, and I started Steadfast Support Services. I'm 1 year old, and I service Butler County, but looking definitely to cross over into Warren, Hamilton counties, and maybe even further out. And purposely started slow to get my feet wet. I'm a year old now and ready to roll. Getting ready to hire 2 more drivers and buy a few wheelchair vehicles that I'm purchasing this week. So that's me. Short there. Sorry.
My name is Dave Seaton-Tom. I'm with Medicare Transportation, serving the Cincinnati area, Northern Kentucky, Indiana. We go as far as Dayton, Columbus. So wherever there's a need, we'll actually, provide service. As far as payments, we actually accept almost all kinds of payments: Medicaid, insurance, private insurance. So literally, if there's a funding source that's not normally tied to, we'll find a way to make it work.
I am Nathan Owens with the Greater Dayton RTA. We service Montgomery County and parts of Greene County. We are the public transportation provider in Montgomery County. We have our fixed route system, which serves roughly 9 million plus trips a year, but we also have our paratransit service, which is our Project Mobility, and that's our demand responsive door-to-door service, and that runs basically 3/4 of a mile off our fixed route. So if there's any trips that are needed, those can be scheduled, and that would have to follow a fixed route, which we have 31 fixed routes and over 3,000 bus stops. So.
My name is Sharon Werner, and I'm the owner of CareGo Transportation. I've been in business for 2.5 years now, and we can provide services in Warren, Butler, Hamilton County. We have 9 vehicles in our fleet right now, and we basically, we do a lot of transporting to the adult day hubs, but we're mainly in business to support the community employment individuals. So currently we have 130 clients that we serve right now. And we're 24/7, 7 days a week.
I'm Tom Weaver. I'm the Director of Choices in Community Living. We're a not-for-profit. We've been around. We're celebrating our 31st year, actually, this year. We've been around. We provide services for people primarily in Montgomery County, about 150 folks in residential settings, and also in Preble County, Clark County, and Madison County. And we're starting and wanting to reach here into Warren County and Greene County. We primarily do residential, but over the last 5-6 years ago or so, we've branched out and started providing non-medical transportation. Now we're pretty solely focused on just providing services for people with developmental disabilities. We contract not with the county, but we work closely with the counties in each situation, each county, and provide and set up services for people through the SSAs and through their families in terms of taking them to work if they're in the homes where we provide services, and then obviously we're providing transportation to them, to the stores or to the recreation or wherever, doctor's appointments, wherever they might be going. The non-medical transportation is a Medicaid service, and we provide and do that. We're expanding And currently in Montgomery County, we probably serve at least 150 people thereabouts a day. Our drivers, we have about 10, 15 drivers or thereabouts, and we do a nice job of trying to vet them completely very well. We have the state of Ohio has a very thorough list of what you have to do in terms of training people before they come and work with you, and we certainly go through all of that. But our motto and our vision, our service motto, if you would, is that we not only do what we need to do in terms of training people to meet those basic requirements, we understand that the folks that we're serving, folks with developmental disabilities, are our customer. And so our drivers are always very mindful and friendly and outgoing and trying to engage with the individual and make sure that they have a good trip. We try to make our trips short as possible. We schedule so you're not taking forever and picking up a lot of other people. But I would have to say that the funding model does require there to be at least 5 people, doesn't require, but we try to have at least 4 or 5 people. And so we schedule trips to have at least 4 or 5 people, taking them to work or taking them back. We seldom will do pick up and take somebody just one place and one person back. It doesn't work very well for us.
Hi, I'm actually here serving a dual role. I'm a mobility manager housed over at Green Cats Public Transit. So for Green Cats Public Transit, I'll share with you that it is a small urban public transit agency. All of their service is considered demand responsive. However, they do provide both scheduled rides and flex route rides, which is a little bit of a hybrid. Similar to RTA, where you have a fixed route service versus a paratransit service, the flex route actually serves both roles. All of the vehicles are ADA accessible. The person can literally flag the bus down along a defined route in the communities of Xenia, Beaver Creek, Yellow Springs, Fairborn, as well as in some Dayton area, because we also provide a express route, and we share Montgomery County with RTA in providing services back and forth across the 2 county lines. So we're very privileged in that aspect to be able to do that, unlike some other public transit agencies that don't have that ability to go across county lines. We do service all of Greene County with our scheduled rides, and like I mentioned, those communities within Greene County where they're highly developed is where those flex routes are located. We are interested in going to other regions, and that's why being here is going to be very prosperous, we hope. I personally, as a mobility manager, look for resources all throughout, not just with Green Cats, but with other areas. And I've seen our Greene County local person with OOD, as well as the Greene County transition team, is something that I personally have been working with in travel training, since I'm the only travel trainer in Greene County as well. So for people with disabilities, or for those seniors that are looking to learn how to use public transit or how to do that for employment opportunities, a travel trainer would be essential, and I'd be the only one in Greene County that you can contact for that type of a service. In addition, since we are small, we only have approximately 40 buses that service both of those, so we're not quite as big as RTA. And that we currently have a mixed fleet of both light transit vehicles as well as the minivans that we just purchased in this past year. I think we'll talk more about other services available as we go along here.
Thank you, everyone. So I guess we'll kind of open it up to some questions to start with. Anyone have anything they'd like to ask any of our wonderful panel members here?
Yes, we do. We currently have a lot of individuals right now that we transport across county.
I was going to say, I noticed on some of the questions that, yeah, we will definitely do cross-county at no extra cost whatsoever, cross-county lines. For wheelchair vehicles and everything, there's no extra cost under any circumstance. It'll be the pretty basic set rate, whether it be, Butler, Hamilton, Warren, wherever else we expand. We're also looking into Preble County, I meant to mention as well. But so yeah, no extra cost for any kind of equipment, anything that's needed. So Crossing County is definitely what I'm looking into doing. Strategically bringing on board employees in different counties right now who will have vehicle ready to go in that county, vehicles in that county ready for quicker transport and stuff. So.
Anything else want to mention? Yeah.
We also, in our South Transit Center, we have 5 transit centers in Montgomery County. And the south one, which is behind the Dayton Mall, Warren County Transit. I'm not sure if anyone's here from Warren County Transit, but they do have service that will run into our South Transit Center. I don't have the times that runs there, but that people use that to transfer. They would have to pay the Warren County Transit, and then they would pay the RTA fare. And we have an express route that runs from south to downtown Dayton. So some employees will use that service.
Do you know how many routes transit runs? I know you don't have the time, but do you know how many routes they would run where they on?
How many routes Warren County runs?
Yeah, Warren
I
County.
don't, I'm sorry. Yeah.
On your website for your scheduling, would it list when Warren County hits that South Hub?
You know it doesn't. I think that's a good idea, though. I will bring that back to the office.
So it would make it easier for
It would.
scheduling.
Yeah, I know we have with Green Cats, the red line as well.
I can tell you the last time I checked that it was something you have to schedule in advance to go to the South Hub. However, Warren County is looking to change that and hopefully revamp that to go better. But currently, as far as last information, that's something you have to schedule in advance. It's not like a shuttle that just regularly goes back and forth.
Perfect.
All right. Anyone? Go ahead.
Dwayne, what's your rate for one way?
Typically it's $19.90 per trip. If it's very close, I have gone down in that wage as well. But typically it's the $19.90 per trip for non-medical transportation.
For project mobility, for verification of physical or mental disability, can you accept verification from OOD and DD as to qualify for this?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
For project mobility and for a verification for physical or mental disability, can OOD or DD, can they sign off to qualify for someone for this project?
It would be, I don't know that answer. I could check. I know it's through the doctor's signature to be with the certification process, and then the certification process is done downtown. So if with anybody that would be certified, they would actually be provided the free transportation service downtown to our office, to our certification center to be signed off on. But I think you're, all right. Were you nodding your head, sir? Did you have? Oh, okay, sorry. So you would have, I know it's a doctor's signature, but I have my business card. I think I left it back there. I can get back with you on that.
Great, thank you. You do have to have a physician's signature on the application
Yes,
in
ma'am.
order to submit.
Yes.
So you can submit it, but they won't look at it unless it has a physician's.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we always suggest is the applications are online on our website. That you do have your application filled out completely before, because we've had cases where people come in with the application and not all parts are filled out, so then they have to reschedule that appointment at the certification center.
Any other questions?
One thing I would like as a mobility manager to offer as advice is when a person is looking for employment, it's really important to know whether or not they are DD eligible. For us as a public transit agency, we actually hold the contract and we are becoming a Medicaid provider to provide that transportation for Board of DD. That can go a long ways in providing employment, whether it be in community placement or even at a workshop. In addition, knowing where they're located and where that job is going to is going to be essential for them to securing transportation back and forth with employment. Knowing whether there's a fixed route option or another type of transportation is also going to be crucial. So when I do these youth travel trainings, especially in the high school part of it, I encourage those at, whether they become a super senior or not, through that 16 to 22 years of age, to start learning about their transportation options then, so that once they're actually placed in employment, whether they're going through a job coach in their last years of high school, then they're going to have an ease of transition going into the workforce once they do graduate from high school or go on to education. So just food for thought.
I guess I'm going to throw this out to everybody. What's the required time frame for scheduling a ride and for canceling a ride? You guys have any, what your rules and regulations are? You want to share?
Yeah, you can schedule rides for Project Mobility with RTA as far as 2 weeks in advance. And you could do that up to a day in advance with the scheduling. But we always recommend, I know people with job opportunities and people that are trying to get to a scheduled job, that again, you call within 2 weeks in advance to schedule that trip. I know you can get on what we call subscription service, and that's if you have the same time of day that is to run twice a week at the minimum. You can schedule that trip and have it a fixed pickup time. So if you had to be at work at 11 o'clock, 3 days a week, we can pick you up and you can schedule that ahead of time. But if you have a rotating schedule, you have to call within 2 weeks of that scheduled time to make that appointment.
You just have, for us, CareGo Transportation, we get the schedules a week in advance. We do have a lot of individuals that will be asked if they can work, and they'll call on a daily basis, and if we can fit them into the schedule, then we'll fit them into the schedule. You can cancel anytime within 30 minutes of your scheduled pickup without any charge.
For Medicare transportation, you can actually schedule the day before, once you're set up in the system. Depending on the billing source, if it's Medicaid through a county, obviously it has to be through the county. Then they actually control the timelines. As far as cancellations, you can cancel up to, you can cancel at the door, prefer you not to, but cancellations we prefer at least an hour ahead of time, so we can reroute the driver. We do have 131 vehicles and 120 drivers, so we service pretty much 24/7.
Scheduling for me, usually 2 weeks in advance. You can we like about an hour if there's going to be a cancel. It's an hour before the trip. So 2 weeks basically for us is just mostly for the SSAs to get their paperwork through. I've taken someone on within a few days, but they pushed it through really fast. So typically though, it is 2 weeks, and then for cancellation, just if they can cancel within an hour, there's no charge for any cancellations.
Any other questions?
For the scheduled rides, we're 2 business days in advance, up to a month in advance, or 30 days. For the flex routes, like I mentioned, you can literally flag the bus down, but we also offer deviations, and it's 3/4 of a mile off of that defined route that a person can request that, again, just like the scheduled rides, 2 business days in advance, up to 30 days in advance. So like today being Monday, I believe it's Monday, no, it's Tuesday. You can schedule on Thursday. On a Thursday, you would be scheduling for Saturday, Sunday, or Monday's type of service, and then up to 30 days in advance of that date. The deviations are nice because, again, because we're very auto dependent in our region, there is many areas where there's not sidewalks that are available, or maybe it's just too busy for allowing someone to board or alight from the vehicle. So that deviation allows the vehicle to actually deviate from its defined route, drop it off, and come back. We also, along those flex routes, don't offer roadside drop-offs, if you will. It's literally going up onto private property. So when we go to Soyna Hospital, we're literally going up to the main entrance and dropping it or picking someone up at that main entrance.
I'm going to ask my director of the program to respond how we schedule people. Trent Grooms.
My name is Trent Grooms from Choices. Our non-medical, primarily we work through the county and determining what their particular needs are. We generally require roughly the time for us to get the IFP, to make sure we coordinate everything with the starting, pick up and drop off. But we've taken individuals and picked them up in a matter of 3 or 4 days, and then providing services to them ongoing until the span where they no longer want our service. Also, I'd like to share, we are part of our group, the Coordinating Council of Montgomery County. We also have collaborated with Green Cat, we were just here very recently with Ken, and also we've done some things as well with the Greater Dayton RTA. So although they may not specifically be providing these services, they have been willing to work with us and help us improve our driver training. We've used the Smith training through Greater Dayton RTA, and we are working with Green Cat on using their scheduling software. So things have worked very well for us. We're pretty active, we've grown significantly. We provide almost 700 routes a week and looking to expand into Warren County, if at all possible. And we're looking forward to going forward and getting to do all that.
For all the people who are looking to expand into Warren County, do you have any sort of time frames?
I'm up immediately, so, yeah. We're ready.
For us, we're registered, we're set up to start doing services. We just haven't yet really gone out and has presented ourselves here in the county. So I guess today is our first, and hopefully we'll start working with the SSAs and families and individuals and start hearing what you might want or what we can offer to you. I couldn't hear
Do you
you.
guys accept private pay? And if you're also a Medicaid waiver provider, do you also accept private pay too?
We can do that. We've seldom have done that because the cost is pretty high, generally speaking, but we could.
What is your cost, before you pass the microphone, what is the cost if you're a non?
Well, we bill the state. It's the waiver. Most of the individuals we serve are on the IO waiver, and so that's we bill the per trip rate, and it's $19.39 less.
If it's a non-waiver person, what would your cost be?
If it was, I'm sorry,
If it was not Medicaid, right?
non-waiver, we would bill the same rate for a non-waiver. And typically the county is paying, will be picking up that expense sometimes. I shouldn't say that.
Almost forgot the question. We actually accept private pay as well. We will work with the individual as far as rates go, depending on the distance. If it's for a short trip, obviously where there's volume, there's better rates. And then if it's repetitive, then we can also schedule it and maintain a better rate. Right now our rates go from, we do some trips for $9, which is ridiculous, but we do some because of the volume. But we actually are somewhere in the neighborhood of around 21, 19 to 21, and sometimes up to 35, depending on what it is. And then as far as Warren County goes, we're available anytime you need us.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if anyone would have any advice for those who don't qualify for DB. Do you have advice on where they, I mean, it's super expensive, obviously, if you don't have that. Do you have any advice on where an individual can look?
I know CareGo, we do offer some individual rates for individuals. We have a lot of senior citizens that seem to think because of the name that we provide all kinds of transportation, but depending if it'll fit in the schedule, we'll compare an Uber rate and then charge the individual if it will fit within our schedule.
Thank you. Anyone else want to follow up on that one?
Is there any particular region or area that you're looking in particular for?
It would be in the Franklin area.
Do you even have anything over there?
There's a couple of senior citizen centers.
Currently, I took over the lovely job of trying to do the administration of the Miami Valley RideFinder.org. I am currently trying to make that more user-friendly and tweak it a little bit. One of the proposal things that I talked to Bob about was another additional tab of not only people can locate rides in Miami Valley, but a way to get out of Miami Valley and a way to get into Miami Valley. So my interest as well, like I said, I'm serving a dual role here, is any type of transportation that is public or nonprofit that would provide transportation for those that aren't qualifying maybe for other services. I'm hoping to start listing on that Miami Valley Ride Finder. So if you find any, let me know, and I'll let you know when I find some too.
I know I'm not up there, but I have to take Brady back downtown, so I do have to leave. But what we do, we have a lot of individuals that we serve that have disabilities whose parents don't live within the county. And we do have a couple that we provide transportation for them to go home to visit their parents. And again, that's based on if it'll fit into our schedule, and then the rate is based on, again, what we do is we take the rate from Uber and a couple different taxi cabs, and we'll do a ratio, and then we compare the rates and come up with a rate that way. Most of the parents are pleased because it's half of what it would cost them to use a regular taxi service to take their child. Plus, they have the experience of knowing they have someone that works with them, who works with someone that has a disability, so they're comfortable using our service.
I'd also say maybe some natural supports, maybe what they have in their life going on too. Maybe who else might be working at the same spot too that works in their neighborhood. Maybe they could arrange some kind of arrangement. Is something, that might be another idea. But yeah, it's a tough one. Any other questions for anybody? Oh, yeah.
You just brought it up to me. Bob on his website with the MVRPC has the ride share in different counties. That's usually the planning commissions, right? So OKI has one in the different regions. The ride share is something in a database that they can plug in their information, both people who can drive and do car sharing or ride sharing, as well as those that are needing rides. It's a matching service. So that might be another avenue, especially for college students I advocate, or for employment, because those are specific destinations that a lot of people are usually traveling to.
Am I allowed to make a comment too? If you're doing long-term counseling with somebody who wants to be employed in the community, and that counseling can include choosing where you live, if you live in an apartment, the best advice I can give is to live on a transit line. If you're in Montgomery County and you can live within 3/4 miles of a RTA transit line, you have both the option of fixed route transit. All the buses are accessible. They have lifts, they kneel down to pick people up. And if you can't use fixed route transit, you make yourself eligible for Project Mobility. Most of us are not used to thinking about where we live in terms of transportation. But if this is going to be a lifetime issue for you, that's the single best advice I would give somebody, is live near a transit line and try to find employment along the transit line.
That's true. I know, to speak on that, kind of a funny thing, my wife and I watch HGTV, which I'm sure a lot of people do, and when people are searching for homes, it's a big plus when they live near a transit line, and that drives the value up. But here in Dayton, in the Montgomery County area, you don't always hear that. And when we speak to some of the regional, the transitional teachers in local schools, they often start to freak out a little bit when their students are getting ready to graduate, and they find out that they don't live within 3/4 of a mile from our fixed route system, and then they have to start thinking. So yes, I agree with Bob. Kind of think ahead of that and pass that along.
Any other questions for anyone? Yes, ma'am.
For the people serving Warren County, where is your contact information? Do you have a card or a number, or?
I have one of these back here.
I think most of you have stuff out in the back right now, or you come and get it too. And I'm sure Angela might help and send out some information for everybody.
All the information out. I'll send an email. So make sure you sign in with your email addresses and we'll just send it all out to you.
Yep, just sign in, we'll make sure you get it, no doubt. Any other questions at all? I got one real fast. If someone has an opportunity to work like overtime, I guess how would you guys handle that in that scenario? If they had a scheduled ride to pick up and then they had an opportunity to work 2 extra hours or something, have you guys ran into that before, and how do you handle that?
I've not ran into that yet.
Okay.
We have a no strand policy, so we have to go back and get them.
We are unfortunately are fixed to our schedule. We run speaking of paratransit, our door-to-door service, we run along, I think I failed to mention as well, that we do run 3/4 of a mile within a fixed route, but we also run along the same time as that fixed route system is out there. So if our buses are pulling in at 12 midnight, that's when our paratransit service would end. So, thank you.
We're pretty tied to our fixed routes too. I suppose we could try to hook something up, but right now we haven't run into that situation.
I'm not too sure about that, but I can tell you our service hours as far as the scheduled rides is 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So obviously within that, the latest pickup would be 8:59. For cancellations, it's up to an hour prior to your scheduled pickup time. So subject to availability, they can always call dispatch and see if there's something available, but there's no guarantee that if they work 2 extra hours that they'd have an immediate ride home when their shift had ended.
Any other questions at all? Yeah.
How long do you wait for individuals when you're picking up, like they're running late coming out? Is there a window of time that you could wait, like 5 or 10 minutes, or when they're not out there on time, you guys just leave? Is there?
Go ahead.
Typically, we will wait 5 minutes, but if before we leave, we're gonna try to make contact with the passenger. And if he's just running late, we're not going to leave, because again, we will come back for him, so we prefer to make the pickup.
We usually wait 15 minutes. We'll make contact with them if they need us to come back. 15, 20 minutes, half hour later we will. So.
Yeah, we're normally in the 3 to 5 minute range because we're picking up multiple individuals. We'll normally have between 7 and 9 individuals in our vans. So 5, 10 minutes here causes other individuals, and it's a domino effect, particularly for those individuals, their parents, or guardians, whomever. But we don't wait very long. If we are running late, all of our drivers are required to call each of their individuals before they take off if they're going to be running late.
And you may have mentioned this, I had some about earlier, if you operate on holidays as well, the major holidays.
Holidays? Yep.
Yes.
Our situation is based upon the county schedule. If the counties are open, now in some of the cases where individuals are going to work sites, we will operate on a holiday if that individual has to go to work that day. We still transport.
We operate on holidays as well, but I mentioned before how our paratransit or project mobility service is kind of complementary service to our fixed route as far as where the route is going and also the time. But if it's a holiday, we do run, but the schedule may change. So if it's a major holiday, like Christmas fell on Friday this past year, we were running on Sunday service schedule. So that was something to keep in mind.
So the service is paid for through an agency and they pre-scheduled the pickup and drop off. Does the individual have to have that information as well if they're nonverbal? Or would you already always know where you're taking them to?
Yeah, our drivers would have that.
Any other questions for anyone? This wonderful panel here, very intelligent people. So. All right. Well, I guess we'll kind of sum it up then. Thanks everyone for coming today. I think we've all learned a little bit.
Justin, I just wanted to mention that I will send out the PowerPoint
the two PowerPoints that we had, well, three really, if you're willing to share yours as well.
Yeah, we'll share ours too.
Okay, that's free.
There we go.
Well, if Angela has the distribution list that, and I can reach out to that.
Great. Yeah, thank you everyone for your time today. We really appreciate everyone being here. Thank you.